Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Grace Shaw. We all know that aviation is one of the most popular forms of transportation, transporting both goods and people. Planes are also used for recreation, the military, and research. Speaking of planes, we are slowly approaching the 88th anniversary of one of the greatest aviation mysteries of all time, Amelia Earhart. So let's go ahead and take a look at a news report from almost a century ago and learn about Earhart's story and the development of aviation. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alice Johnson, and today is July 2nd, 1939. I'm here to update you on a record-breaking journey to fly across the world, which was attempted by Amelia Earhart. Unfortunately, I'm coming to you with some very tragic news. Earhart never arrived at her destination. We have also lost contact with Earhart and her plane. Earhart was not only known for her successes in aviation and record-breaking flights, but she was also a leader, an inspiration, and a hero for all the young women who dreamed of becoming a pilot. Let's go down to our reporters and ask them about the beginnings of this incredible story. Thank you, Alice. As most of you know, aviation was not always this advanced. In fact, it wasn't until December 17th, 1903 that the Wright brothers made the first airplane. The plane only flew for around 59 seconds, but it set a foundation for future aviation. Eventually, this allowed for planes to be used during World War I. But it wasn't until the golden age of aviation that the advancements of planes really took a turn. You see, this period between World War I and World War II was a big time in technology advancements. We talked to an aviation tech, and according to George E. Matimo, airplanes changed from slow wood and wired-framed and fabric-covered biplanes to faster, sleek, all-metal monoplanes. During this time, airplanes also began to carry passengers, bombs, mail, and take longer flights. Back to you, Alice. So now that we know how aviation started, let's take a look at Earhart's story and how she became such a well-known pilot. Earhart was born on July 24, 1897. She didn't have the easiest time growing up. Her family didn't have a lot of money, and she was constantly moving. But in 1920, all of that changed. She took her first airplane ride to see her parents in California, and from that moment on, she knew she wanted to be a pilot. Despite aviation being a field dominated by men, she started taking flying lessons and eventually got her pilot's license. During her time as a pilot, Earhart set many records, including the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California, and the first person to fly solo from LA to Mexico City. But Earhart set out to set an even bigger record, flying around the world. Betty? Hello, everyone. I'm standing here in Miami, Florida, at Miami's Municipal Airport on the runway. This is a very historical place because this is where the one and only Amelia Earhart departed from almost a month ago on her record-breaking flight. Earhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, set out on their journey with their destination in Howard's Island on June 1st, 1937. And let's not forget, this was a 29,000-mile journey. A month later, on July 2nd, Earhart was only 2,600 miles away from her destination. However, towards the end of her flight, she began to run out of fuel. And her last known words were, "We are running north and south." Wow, what a sad but inspiring story. In fact, it reminds me a lot of the story Their Eyes Were Watching God, where Amelia is just like the main character. She found her independence through flying solo, and she achieved a huge sense of self-fulfillment because she was pursuing her passion and was constantly breaking records. Although her disappearance is still a mystery, Earhart left an incredible legacy and impact on aviation. My name is Grace, and thank you for joining me on this journey through aviation history.